Oh, wow, I despise. 'Cause it means destruction of innocent lives. War means tears to thousands of mothers die when their sons go off to fight and lose their lives. I said war. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Get sad again. War. Oh, Lord. What is it good for? Absolutely. Nothing. Listen to me. War. It ain't nothing but a heartbreak. War. Friend only to the undertaker. Oh, war is an enemy to all mankind. The thought of war blows my mind. War has caused unrest within the younger generation. Induction, then destruction. Who wants to die? Oh, war. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Sad. War. Oh, yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Listen to me. War. It ain't nothing but a heartbreaker. War. It's got one friend, that's the undertaker. Oh, war has shattered many a young man's dreams. Made him disabled, bitter and mean. Life is much too short and precious to spend fighting wars each day. War can't give life, it can only take it away. Oh, war. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. War. Oh, Lord. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Listen to me. War. It ain't nothing but a heartbreaker. War. Friend only to the undertaker. Woo! Please love and understand and tell me, is there no place for them today? They say we must fight to keep our freedom, but Lord knows there's got to be a better way. Oh, wow, God, y'all. What is it good for? You tell them. Say it. Wow. Good God, now. What is it good for?
Will begin in about 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
That's a fun one. Yeah. I'm Carmen Harlan. How are you? Hun? No, I mean, really. How are you? You know, it's good to see people in person for a change, not virtually. And I don't know about you, but doesn't it feel good to finally be on the other side of this pandemic? I know it's not over, and we won't know exactly what that will look like when it is. But still, we are here today, and that's exciting. This moment, right now. I know I sound like someone who's been in lockdown for almost a year, but think about it. Collectively, we've been challenged in so many, many ways, experiencing a range of emotions. It's almost like we're getting a chance to start over in a more loving and compassionate way, applying what we've learned during this pandemic. The science tells us that COVID is going to be around for a while, perhaps in a more diminished way. But you can still sense the opportunity that is before us on any number of levels. And this time, we have a chance to get it right. And that is the real gift. It also brings us to why we are here today. The Gilbert Family Foundation, along with Rocket Community Fund, are making a significant gift that will change the lives of thousands of Detroiters. We're talking $500 million. And to learn more about how these dollars are spent and who will be eligible for the program, we're going to hear from the significant principals. Jay Farner, CEO of Rocket Companies, Dan and Jennifer Gilbert, who need no introduction, and Laura Graneman, who is the Vice President of Rocket Community Fund. So let's get things kicked off today for this historic moment and bring on Jay Varner.
Well, good morning, everyone. What a great day to be here. I've had a privilege of witnessing many great things in my 25 years here at Rocket Companies and Quicken Loans, but today is very, very special. I want to thank Carmen for emceeing the event. Thanks to all the media for being here today to spread the good word about everything that we're doing. And in particular, I really want to welcome our 30,000 plus team members across the United States who are watching this event that's being live streamed. In fact, we've got folks in Canada and even across the world that are watching. It's important because we believe at Rocket Companies that our team members are our greatest asset. They are a key to our long-term success, and because as we talk about contributing to our communities today, they're really at the heart of this announcement. To give you some examples, combined, all the time that our team members have contributed, it's over 415,000 hours of their volunteer time here in the city of Detroit, and over 800,000 hours when we look across the entire country. Today is a monumental day, not only for the Gilbert Family Foundation, but for the Rocket Community Fund, and of course, our city and its residents. I believe that today will prove to be a pivotal day in Detroit's history. The announcement being made this morning by Dan and Jennifer Gilbert, along with the Rocket Community Fund, impacts lives, perhaps even generations for the better. You all have undoubtedly seen the CBS Morning News morning piece or read the New York Times and know the crux of today's announcement. It's about Dan and Jennifer's commitment to the city and eliminating the burden of property tax debt. Too many Detroit residents are caught up in this unjust cycle of property debt. It's an incredible burden on families. For those homeowners who have worked to finally attain the first home, their first home, only to be weighed down by unknown or undisclosed property taxes, I can tell you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I've had the privilege of working with Dan Gilbert for over 25 years. I've seen an inherent drive in him to help others and to create opportunities so people can grow and succeed. Since we've moved Quicken Loans and Rocket Companies downtown almost 11 years ago, we have played a small role in raising up the city and addressing issues not only downtown, but in the surrounding neighborhoods. And we've learned along the way that there are systemic and generational issues that take resources as well as considerable time and effort to properly address. There are no quick fixes. In our organizations, we have something called isms. There are 20 of them, and Dan has created them, and they define our culture and how we approach our work. I think that when we look at today's announcement, it can be best summed up by saying that we are truly obsessed with finding a better way. In this instance, our team members have come together with our community partners to solve housing and tax delinquency here in Detroit. With today's announcement, it is both the realization of Dan and Jennifer's longtime commitment to the city, as well as our isms in action. I'm grateful to work with Dan and Jennifer, to be involved in this great work, because we will truly be impacting the outcome. I'd like to take a moment and recognize the Mayor of Detroit, Mike Duggan, as well as Wayne County Executive Warren Evans, both of whom have been leaders in the tax foreclosure issue, and they are critical partners for the Gilbert Family Foundation and the Rocket Community Fund. In particular, I'm incredibly grateful to Warren. Under his leadership, we've been able to find a path forward to make this program sustainable. We went to him and his team with an idea, and as our isms say, he helped us figure it out. With that, I'd like to turn the podium over to Dan and Jennifer Gilbert.
What would you say it means to be a Detroiter?
Oh boy, it means many things.
It's kind of awesome being a Detroiter.
We're strong, we're powerful.
You learn a lot, you experience a lot.
We are serious about surviving to accomplish our goals and our dreams. I became the proud owner of this new home in February 2020 after struggling for 10, 20 years, renting for 10, 20 years to become a homeowner. My new home is in the neighborhood where I grew up. So my entire family is pretty much right there. Oh, hey, Auntie Bud.
When me and my family was to move into this home, it was supposed to be ready. And it was completely not ready. Like I had no floors, no walls, no kitchen. When you're a homeowner, you're responsible for these pipes if they bust, this furnace if it go out, this hot water tank, you know, the property taxes.
I found out the $600 water bill, which comes with the property. But I found out 2017, 2018, and 2019 taxes were not paid. Meaning if I didn't take care of those taxes, they were gonna snatch my home.
You always want your kids to have great things. You want them to be great. You always want them to have opportunities that you didn't take or you didn't have. When I lost my second job, that kind of really put me in a bad situation. I have to not pay this bill or not do this and not do that because I have to have a kitchen. I have to have a working bathroom.
I felt like I could have been homeless any minute because this house is in foreclosure. And then the new one I get is getting ready to be taken for taxes. I just got it.
You know, you get to think about what if the resources that you have now are not there. You know, what do you do then?
What would it mean to you if you can just focus on your future?
It would mean I could go back to school.
One less thing that I would have my children to worry about is a roof over their head.
It means I can get my car repaired, and have a nice, stable vehicle to use, I can focus on other things besides a roof over my head, taxes.
I can actually, be a mother to my sons. I can actually spend more time with them.
It means everything. It makes me feel like I'm loved. That's what it feels like. That's what it means to me.
Nice morning for a stroll, about 8 feet. We're here today to announce that the Gilbert Family Foundation and Rocket Community Fund, which is the philanthropic arm of our Rock Companies, which is our flagship business, will be making a combined commitment of $500 million to be invested into the neighborhoods of Detroit. Our Family Foundation will be contributing $350 million, and the Rocket Community Fund will be contributing $150 million. We're targeting a 10-year window beginning with this year, 2021, where we expect to deploy $50 million annually. The first initiative we will be tackling with this $500 million commitment will be to eliminate the scourge of property tax debt that has hung over tens of thousands of Detroiters over the past several years, and in some cases, generations. Partly because of interest and penalties accruing on an annual basis, numerous homeowners find themselves significantly underwater. Not only do these homeowners live under the fear that their home will be taken away from them, but this debt often prevents the property from being sold or refinanced. Not to mention the heavy burden of seeing their home equity dwindle away year by year. I don't have to mention the mental toll it takes on our very own citizens of Detroit. No person should have to make the decision or the choice between keeping their home or feeding their family. As many of you know, over the past 11 years, we did our best to create a thriving urban downtown core since we began moving our companies and employees to Detroit back in 2010. Today, our businesses employ over 24,000 people, and close to 5,000 of them live in the city of Detroit. And I stand up here today representing all of them because we wouldn't be nowhere near able to make this commitment without their hard work and wealth creation everybody played their part. I know Jay spoke a little bit about this, but Jay's the CEO of the flagship business, and he understands this as well as anybody. We have always said that our commitment to Detroit had no borders, and we care for every corner of the city as much as we do for downtown. When I was fortunate enough to chair the Detroit Blight Removal Task Force back in 2013-14, it became crystal clear to all of us on that task force that among other problems, the systematic challenges in and around property tax in Detroit created cycles of blight leading to mass housing insecurity that has touched more than 1/3 of the properties in the city. That's an incredible number when you think about it. 1/3 of the properties in Detroit have had these issues with back property taxes, interest accruing, and penalties, and caused all kinds of hardship and strife. So this isn't just a sparse problem. It's a problem that it's massive and it's contagious. But it's not the properties we were most concerned about. It's the people who live in them. So we went to work. Our philosophy is to treat more than the symptoms when we are facing a problem. We worked to get to the root cause of the issue, and it was easily concluded that property tax foreclosure was the primary cause of blight and subsequent abandonment of those homes over the past several years. Big problems require big solutions, and I am proud of the work that we, the city, and the county have already done over the past decade when it comes to addressing property tax foreclosure in Detroit. For example, we coordinated and arranged a campaign to go door to door across the city and connect every single property owner that was behind in the property taxes to resources that they were eligible for to prevent them from becoming displaced. However, despite all the work we have done and others have done over the years, it remains clear there is still a large group of people stuck between the past and the future, with their property tax debt hanging over their head, keeping them locked in a frozen position, causing them to make unfair and troublesome decisions. This insidious problem impacts education, crime, jobs, and physical and mental health, as well as property values of entire neighborhoods. And today there are over 20,000 Detroit homeowners that are still enduring the stress and difficulty of back property taxes. Today is for them. We will be wiping out the back taxes of approximately 20,000 Detroit homeowners with the first allocation of our commitment to Detroit neighborhoods. Tomorrow morning will be a new start and a new era for a large chunk of the city's residents who have been left behind for far too long. Additionally, today's announcement is a doubling down on our commitment to Detroit, its people, its mayor, its council, its county executive, and its future. We expect this first investment to impact every neighborhood across the city. Through the Gilbert Family Foundation and Rocket Community Fund, we hope this $500 million investment will touch every single Detroiter in some way, shape, or form. From experiencing opportunities for economic mobility to wealth creation and achieving the future they deserve. I've always tried to surround myself with colleagues, leaders, and trusted partners who share the same values and vision. Today, I'm grateful for the opportunity to introduce you to my partner in GFF and in life. She is the mother of our 5 kids, my wife, my partner, and I could go on forever here, but I'll just go over to her, hand it over to her. So I was going to say my boss, but you know. Okay. Jennifer Gilbert.
Thank
So
you.
this is Jennifer. Jennifer has some things to say here as well.
Hello, everyone. When you listen to Dan speak, you can hear his true love and personal connection to the city of Detroit. That love, that passion is shared by our entire family. It is for that reason that we couldn't be more excited to make this announcement today. I recently read a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. regarding philanthropy and charitable giving. He said that while philanthropy is commendable, philanthropists cannot overlook the economic circumstances that make philanthropy necessary. And that is why the first dollars and efforts of this decade-long commitment will be targeting the root of the problem and done in partnership with the communities we will serve. Over the past year, my colleagues and I sat with 16 community groups and partners to listen and learn about the issues that many Detroiters are still facing and where the Gilbert Family Foundation can make the biggest difference. We learned many important things, but 2 key themes resonated in our conversations. First, Detroiters are resilient. Second, and most importantly, Detroiters need greater access to economic opportunity. Specifically, there are systemic barriers that stand in the way of economic stability and advancement. The second point is critical because if we can provide a pathway for economic opportunity and mobility, we will begin to break down the long-standing barriers that have made it unnecessarily difficult for so many Detroiters for far too long. We know it's difficult enough in life to focus on education, employment, parenting, let alone worrying about losing your home. This has become personal for us. We find ourselves talking about these issues as a couple and as a family often. We can do better. We will do better. I am grateful to those community leaders and organizations who have helped us on our journey and have provided us valuable insights into addressing such complex issues. Dan and I, along with the teams from the Gilbert Family Foundation and Rocket Community Fund, look forward to long and collaborative relationships with our community partners. We will continue to listen and learn so that we can help solve the most pressing challenges at the right time and in the right way for the city and for its neighborhoods. Thank you.
What's up now?
To be a Detroiter means strength. It means courage. It means the ability to, take a hit and keep going.
When things get tough, we hold our head up, pull our pants up, and face it dead on.
Detroiters, in general, we don't give up hope, right? We always know that there is a brighter future and we're willing to work for it.
And what's been missing from that equation is the opportunities. So to live and think your house is going to be taken away at any moment by the government because your taxes are past due and you got penalties and interest on top of it accruing. I mean, how do you get anything else done? That's just always on your mind.
You have people not getting repairs to their homes, sitting up in the winter in the cold, not buying food. These are the choices that people have had to make. Everybody wants to put a Band-Aid on the immediate problem, but if you don't fix the root of the problem, the Band-Aid only stays on so long and then it pops off and it's worse.
It's not about being prescriptive and saying, we know exactly what to do. We have to learn it together, We have to be able to shape a solution that's built by and for the community.
How you create a stronger community is by providing equity and access and opportunity for all people.
We will be investing $500 million over the course of the next 10 years to build economic stability and economic mobility and overall economic opportunity. One of the first things that the Gilbert Family Foundation is going to be doing is making a $15 million investment in wiping out back taxes.
I can't wait for this announcement to come out, for the tears that's going to happen up at Mac Development and at the Commons.
I became so excited. Literally, we were on a Zoom call. I had to mute myself because I thought about the calls that I've taken from residents who were saying, I'm trying to save my home.
We were seeing people with $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 in back due property taxes. And half of it was penalties, fees, and interest. And it was just this continual cycle.
It's going to remove generational barriers that have always been there that we just haven't as a society attacked yet in the right way.
It is going to put so much hope back in our neighborhoods. People can start fresh.
I can focus on getting back in school to finish my associate's degree in culinary arts.
It actually gave me a breather to be able to actually see exactly what it is that I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it.
I don't think I can come up with any words to describe it other than being blessed. I'm gonna continue to say that. I feel blessed.
This year it's COVID, this year it's employment, this year it's property taxes. Things will change, but the capital will still be there and ready to be fired at the right target as we learn more each year.
Somebody listen to us, the people on the ground, for a change. They really listen. It is just so much good is gonna come from this. I can't wait.
To be here and celebrating the city of Detroit, thank you all so much for being with us. This is truly a special moment for our family of companies and for our city, and we could not be prouder. We would not be here today without the generosity of Dan and Jennifer Gilbert. I personally have had the honor of getting to know and work with Dan over the last 7 years, and especially get to know his philosophies, which we call isms. To him, one of the isms that pops out most when we think about this work in Detroit is you'll see it when you believe it. Most people flip that around, but for Dan, it is the vision and leadership that he has here in the city of Detroit that we are now able to take that next step towards true economic opportunity for all Detroiters. So, today's announcement is really the culmination of many years of leadership. And as you heard Dan talk about, back in 2013, he chaired the Blight Removal Task Force. This work allowed us to see the deep connection between property tax foreclosure and blight in the city of Detroit. In fact, over the last 15 years, we have had 150,000 properties enter a property tax foreclosure auction. In the years since the Blight Removal Task Force, the Rocket Community Fund has been incredibly focused on breaking this destructive cycle that too often has led to homelessness, blight, poverty, and more. Alongside many partners, many of whom are here today, we have made a lot of change and momentum by pushing for policy change and by creating new programs. But the reality is that many Detroit families fell behind on property taxes years ago, despite the fact that they could have qualified for an income-based exemption. These families have been stuck in a cycle of tax debt ever since. No one can build a strong economic foundation for them or their family if they're worried about keeping a roof over their head. So today, we are closing the book on property tax foreclosure. we are announcing the Detroit Tax Relief Fund. This fund, which will be administered by our friends and partners at Wayne Metro Community Action Agency, will completely pay off the back property tax debt of an estimated 20,000 low-income Detroit homeowners. Yes! These homeowners should have been able to qualify for the Homeowners Property Tax Assistance Program many years ago, and today we are proud to be able to support them. Homeowners across the city, or anyone who thinks that you might be able to qualify, can call 313-244-0274 or check out waynemetro.org/property tax. Our network of partners who has been with us along the way will be there to support homeowners across the city to apply for the Homeowners Property Tax Assistance Program, which will then completely eliminate or lower the current year's property taxes. And then Wayne Metro will be able to deploy funds from the Detroit Tax Relief Fund in order to completely eliminate all back tax debt. There are so many partners that I want to thank who came together to make this investment possible. First and foremost, we would not have been able to see the sustainable change that we have seen over the last few years without the strong political leadership of Mayor Duggan, County Executive Warren Evans, and Treasurer Eric Sabri. They have all been united in their efforts to support Detroit homeowners, and I especially want to thank County Executive Warren Evans, who, as Jay mentioned earlier, when we went to him with this idea, he said, "Great, and let's do more." So not only are we breaking the cycle of unjust tax debt by making this $15 million contribution, but also alongside us, Wayne County will be investing $5 million in future foreclosure prevention so that we never get to this point again. Secondly, a huge shout out to our partners at Wayne Metro for their dedication in consistently serving every Detroit resident who walks through their door. And most close to my heart, I'd like to acknowledge the work of the Rocket Community Fund team, and in particular that of Alex Alsop. He has been a great leader and advocate. And lastly, but very importantly, I want to take a moment to recognize the very special and particular leadership of Jennifer Gilbert. Jenny has a deep love for the people of the city of Detroit, as I think you've all heard and seen. She has consistently, over the last year, invested her own time in listening to residents and community leaders who have actually they have lived experience of the systems that are failing them. And as a result of this direct community engagement by Jennifer, who has led us along the way, our investments will always be rooted in that lived experience. So today we take one huge step towards building systems of economic justice that work for every Detroiter in our city, and I could not be prouder to be a small part of it. Thank you all for being here today, and we look forward to many years of partnership to come.
You sound like you have a little life in you, huh? You know, no one knows better what a gift like this will mean, not only in the lives of the people who receive it, but to the city and to the county. We're going to hear the reaction from our next two guests. We're going to get things started with Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan.
Well, good morning. This is an extraordinary day for the city of Detroit, a major step forward on a strategy to start to break the cycle of intergenerational poverty in this city, and for 20,000 people, immediate relief. And to Dan and Jennifer Gilbert and the Gilbert family, we are extraordinarily grateful. But I'm going to deviate from any formal statements. I just want to tell you a little bit about Dan Gilbert. In many places, we get donations, and we deeply appreciate them. We put them to good use. With Dan Gilbert, this has come from his heart from the beginning. He talked about the fact that he headed the Blight Task Force in 2013, and he said, we are going to get every single abandoned house in this city down, and that was his cause. And when he and I would meet, our staffs knew not to schedule anything because we ended up spending 2 or 3 hours as we went from project to project. And at first we were talking about the Hudson sites in downtown, and more, Dan became totally focused on stabilizing the neighborhoods. And he said to me, if we don't stop the people from leaving the houses, all we're going to be doing is being behind. And he said, we still have way too many foreclosures. And I said, Dan, we've got payment programs, we've got assistance programs, we've got poverty tax exemptions. And he says, but people don't know. And while we were on the internet, where we were doing public announcements, where we had notices in public office buildings, his point was that the folks who need it most are the least mobile, have the least access to that. And it was Dan and his team that paid for neighborhood groups to knock on every single door in this city of a family in danger of being foreclosure, tell them all of the programs available, sign them up for the poverty exemption, and we cut the foreclosures of owner-occupied houses by 95%. And I thought that was progress. Dan called one morning and said, can I come over and see you? And he came in to see me by himself. He says, I was up last night, I got an idea. And I assume he's got some big downtown project. And he says, you know what our biggest problem in foreclosures is right now? It's the landlords. They're the ones that are being foreclosed. And I said, yeah, Dan, it's terrible. The tenants are paying their check every single month. The landlord doesn't pay the taxes, and that yellow foreclosure notice goes on the house. He says, that's what I've been thinking about. He says, it seems like a waste. If they're already paying $800 a month and they're in the house and they're in the neighborhood, why can't we take the house away from the delinquent landlord and give it right to the tenant? Let that tenant who's paying the bill be the homeowner. And he had this legal plan. It is all sketched out. Here's what we'll do when they're behind. We'll come in, we'll pay the taxes off, we'll take ownership, we'll make an agreement with the tenant, we'll set them up with a mortgage, we'll set them up with home ownership training. And he shows this whole thing. I said, Dan, that's an amazingly complicated thing to do. I don't know, we need 6 different government agencies. And he said, hey, I did Rocket Mortgage. He says, I make complicated simple, let me do it. And so we started a program that Dan personally designed and drove to reach out to the folks who were paying their rent. Today, we have 1,100 tenants who own their own homes. So instead of a vacant house where they were put out and we have to deal with it, 1,100 homeowners, not just because Dan gave the money, which was important, because in Dan's heart, he found the solution. And now, with this extraordinary gift, he came and said, we have a lot of folks with a lot of debt hanging over their heads. And if you're worried about that debt every day, it's hard to focus on anything else. And let me tell you this about Dan Gilbert. He sees the world through the eyes of a kid who grew up in Detroit and came out of this city and did great. And when he sees those houses in financial distress, he sees children like him who have enormous potential. And they're never going to be able to achieve that potential if their family is feeling under that financial stress. And so with the extraordinary gift today, 20,000 families are going to get a leg up. And so we are so blessed to have the Gilbert family in this community. And we're so blessed that we have true Detroiters looking out for the next generation. And I just want Dan and Jennifer and the children to know this city is enormously grateful. Thank you.
First of all, good morning. And I also kind of like to echo the sentiment of both Mike Duggan and others here today that Dan and Jennifer Gilbert, in the words of kids in the neighborhood, they get it. Their heart's in the right place. Their desire, besides their entrepreneurial concerns and issues, are really to do good, to make things better. And I really appreciate that, just as a natural issue, not just on this issue, but just about everything that they touch, and I've dealt with them on in the last 6 years, and really consider them friends. So I want to thank Dan and Jennifer for their generosity. Carmen, I want to thank you for emceeing, and the Gilbert Family Foundation and the Rocket Community Fund for the commitment to Detroiters and the people of Wayne County. Make no mistake, the gift will keep families in their homes, and that's really what we're here today about, to keep families in their homes. Is this a total solution to the foreclosure problems? Absolutely not, but is it a step in the right direction and a step that can be built upon? Absolutely it is, and that's critically important, and I don't think we can overstate that. It continues us down a path. But then, that's what leaders do. When leaders lead, people follow. Keeping people in their homes is the surest way to create a stronger and more vibrant Wayne County. Foreclosure is not an economic process, really. It's a social process. And its impact reaches far beyond those who just lose their homes. A new study at Stanford University draws a strong correlation between foreclosures and loss of population, a significant issue, and all of us who are here in Detroit understand fully well that statement is absolutely correct. You just compound and build upon problems when you have ongoing foreclosures, and then you have the population loss that comes from those foreclosures. You have the reduction in property values of the surrounding properties, and the cycle just gets worse and worse. This program is going to allow people to be able to have the taxes paid, stabilize their lives in such a way that they will be able to pay their taxes. And when we talk about 20,000 families, we're hitting significant numbers. Wayne County's pay-as-you-stay program that we worked very hard on a couple of years ago has gotten 5,500 or more families staying in their homes, the ability to work through the crises that life has for people without a lot of means anyway, and then you add the pandemic to it, and you put a multiplier on it so significant that sometimes you wonder, how do people fight through it? Now, the least we in government can do is put our heads together and work together to try to get the ultimate goal, which is home ownership, people's ability to stabilize. That's the biggest investment most people have. And if you're going to build generational wealth, you're going to have to do it through home ownership and those sorts of things. And so it's critically important that we get there. Years ago, almost 1 out of 4 during the Great Recession, probably 1 out of 4 of all properties in Detroit were foreclosed upon. It's a drastic, tremendous number. And the will of Detroiters to try to fight through it is so critically important to me, and that's what makes programs like this so important, to be able to give some help, to be able to try to create some energy for people to continue to fight, to continue to do the things that are necessary to try to bring this city to where we want it to be. And I think Detroiters are fighting, and I hope they know that their elected officials are working together with organizations and people like Dan and Jennifer Gilbert to try to make things happen. And so I can't be happier about this $15 million. We've decided, because it is so significant, and because we're team players. I mean, much of Wayne County is the city of Detroit, so Wayne County is going to put $5 million. We need to have skin in the game also, and that's going to be general fund dollars, and it's going to go to Wayne Metro to be able to work through these programs, to find people, to create the eligibility necessary to be able to alleviate some of their foreclosure problems. And we're going to try to build upon that. Everything are building blocks. This doesn't have to be the end-all and be-all, but it is certainly a tremendous contribution and just greatly appreciated. So in Wayne County, and my partner in Wayne County, the chairwoman of the Wayne County Commission, Alicia Bell, sends her greetings, and she is, understand, a partner with us. It's just not the county executive that runs the county. It's a team of people, and her heart is strongly involved in this process, as are the other 14 county commissioners. So we're excited. We're glad to be here. I can't thank Dan and Jennifer enough. I can't thank Laura enough for taking some time to explain the specifics of some of these programs so that people can clearly see what the outcomes can be and where the resources are to be able to move forward. So it's been great. It's going to continue to be great. And I can't be prouder of both the foundation, the Gilbert family's commitment to the city of Detroit, and quite frankly, the commitment to the political leadership in this area with each other. It's not always that way, and I know many of you know that. There are turf issues, there are all kinds of concerns that oftentimes get in the way of good public policy. I think you see over the last few years here that's not the case in Detroit and Wayne County, and I think we all benefit from that. So thank you very much for your time.
Well, I want to thank all of you for being here today. My part as the MC is coming to a close, but I know you've got questions about how this program is going to work and who's going to be on the receiving end and what it will mean for the city. And for that part of the program, I'm going to bring on the Rock Ventures Chief Communications Officer, Aaron Walker, and he'll take your questions and he'll have the right people here to answer them. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming today. I'd like to just take a quick moment to thank all of you for being here, our community partners. Let me just do a couple of quick housekeeping items. I want to explain to you how the press Q&A is going to work. First and foremost, though, I know most of you talked to Luke Londo